This is client 2 training program, Ashley Adamson-Edwards 14.2. The client's name is Caroline Edwards and they're aged 36 with a medical background of an underactive thyroid and lower back stress and pain. Their lifestyle background consists of working a full-time occupation and cares for a family as a mother. She also enjoys hobbies such as reading books and going to gym classes. Her nutrition is it's just that they need to make improvements due to them consuming 2,000 to 2,500 calories per day, which against normative data is slightly above the average amount that they should consume. Barriers to exercise are conditions such as an underactive thyroid, which may cause fatigue at a quicker rate that prevents them from completing exercises to as high intensity as someone like client 1. Their exercise interests consist of yoga and Pilates. Their goals is to improve their BMI through weight loss and decrease their BMI at least 5 kilograms within 6 weeks and 2.5 kilograms within 3 weeks. Following on from this, they would like to improve their flexibility. This can be measured through the sit and reach tests to improve from -9 to 0 within 3 weeks and +10 after 6 weeks. Sporting interest consists of just they want to get to know new sports and perhaps take them up as a hobby, as they're not currently taking part in any. For my first week, this session is targeted towards improving client 2's flexibility and taking a step towards weight loss with a range of aerobic and high-intensity exercises. However, as my client only takes part in around 3 hours of exercises per week, in order to prevent overloading them in this session, the content isn't at high intensity as it normally would be for someone who is consistently exercising, therefore accounting for the reversibility of client 2's fitness by gradually increasing the intensity that they work at. During the warm-up, the pulse raiser of light jogging with some dynamic stretches will allow for clients' blood to be circulated around the body more efficiently in order to provide preparation for aerobic exercise. With this preparation, their body will be forced to work and their body won't be forced to work anaerobically due to the large role the muscles have for exercises without enough oxygen already being transported to them. Therefore, reducing the client's recovery time, (EPOC), to in turn prevent strain applied to the heart via the heart rate staying at a high level for longer. Additionally, this small activity of aerobic endurance will allow the client to know how the session content will attempt to train them to consequently prevent a lack of motivation. A client 2 would be unaffectively forced into training in this manner. Also, the dynamic stretches will provide an increase in the muscles, joints and range of movement for later exercises in the session. As a result of this, they are less likely to damage a muscle as the muscle's fibers have been warmed up to allow them to withstand forces applied to them more efficiently. Following on from this, the small activity of a singular set of squats for the client follows the principle of specificity, as this will introduce the client back into a tense exercise because they don't exercise very often and only work in low RPE levels with exercises such as yoga and Pilates. This, however, will be done at a steady pace in order to prevent overloading the client to in turn reduce the chance of demotivation through injury. Following on from this, the training, the first activity prescribed to my client 2 is front squats due to the high intensity of the exercise increasing the chances of losing weight, which follows specificity as decreasing their BMI score is a goal of theirs. However, so that the client's first exercise doesn't put them off with a high workload, I've decided to prescribe the exercise to be carried out without a barbell and a low amount of reps per set. This follows the FIT principle of progressive overload to allow eventful progression in the client's stability to withstand higher intensity. However, as the exercise may cause stress to the lumbar vertebrae of client 2, key aspects of the flexibility and support for the upper body, the next exercise will be a recovery activity in the lower back mobilizer at a low intensity. This is to ensure reversibility, specificity as one of their goals was to increase the flexibility and prevent injury through relieving this vital aspect of their fitness of any pressure, stress or strain. accumulated. Although client 2 is attempting to lose weight, as mentioned before, they don't take part in much high-intensity exercises, so to make their next exercise one of high intensity on the exercise bike may cause overload with the client as they are overwhelmed with a high workload. As a result of this, the next exercise of the exercise bike will be for a short time and at a low target heart rate zone of 60% aerobic in order to provide a simple exercises where the client isn't overwhelmed by high intensity. Additionally, regarding the specification of client 2, their mental health anxiety issue for client 2 would be affected by this in a positive way by relieving their of stress through straightforward exercises in the first session. The walking lunges then provided will ensure a strong start to improving client 2's flexibility as it applies strain against the leg muscles like hamstring and quadricep groups to provide muscle hypertrophy. Due to this hopeful increase in strength in the muscles, they will be able to stretch to a further extent, which will improve their flexibility. Finally, accounting for client 2's goal for trying to reduce the BMI score through weight loss, the client will perform crunches for their final exercise of the session. Although this exercise may overload the client due to the high intensity, I allocated them a 1 minute active rest time in order for their ATP stores to replenish for efficient muscular contraction, while circulating blood at an efficient rate to prevent the process of OBLA. Finally, the cool down. Consisting of, due to this session being client 2's first session, which also included some high-intensity drills for someone with their condition or an underactive thyroid, which causes fatigue to occur more quickly. I prescribed them with a 2-minute exercise bike cycle at low intensity of 9 on the RPE scale. This will hopefully decrease recovery time as the blood is being circulated more efficiently, is continuously efficiently pumped around the body via the skeletal muscle pump. Therefore, the working muscles are receiving efficient oxygen to the relevant to eradicate any oxygen debt built up over the session, to consequently allow the heart rate to decrease as quickly as possible. Following on from this, the static stretches at the end of this cool down will allow muscle and joint pliability and the range of movement to be maintained via the isolation of particular joints and muscles to prevent the chance of injury to occur, and in turn allow the client to return to exercise quicker as they won't be injured. Following on from this, client 2's second week, so they'll warm up not only with a light intensity cycle on the exercise bike, prepare their client's aerobic energy system for later activities by ensuring the working muscles are receiving sufficient amounts of oxygen. It will also prepare the client's muscle memory for the later activity at a longer duration to enhance the degree at which they can perform the technique of cycling. However, this is performed at a low intensity in order to prevent the overloading the client into the anaerobic energy system, which would cause fatigue before the session had even started. The dynamic stretches are then prescribed in order to improve the range of movement of the client's joints and muscles to prepare for later exercises. For example, shoulder circles will ensure that the client's shoulders are able to provide efficient support to the arm in the later activity of bicep curls in order to prevent injury, or during the activity of SAQ training later on, which involves some or from front squats with a barbell. The active specific stage is then prescribed in order to prepare the client is completing for completing later exercises to the best possible degree of their technique, as the SAQ training ladder involves some complex drills and therefore added preparation now will help to prevent injury through muscle memory. Additionally, this warm-up has been altered from last week's session in order to provide variation and prevent demotivation, with stages like the submaximal exercise stage changing from jogging to an exercise bike activity. The training, the front squats activity has been repeated due to the high benefits of it provides towards the weight loss for the client because of the high intensity. Although in order to provide progressive overload, I've used the FIT principle in order to increase intensity via adding the barbell to the exercise of 15 kilograms. This will therefore make areas of the client's body, like the lumbar vertebrae, to work harder under high resistance in order to burn calories at a quicker rate. The added barbell will also provide variation to the program, as it wasn't part of last week's activity. However, to allow the client not to be overwhelmed and overloaded by the exercise, I haven't added to the reps of the sets included a 1 minute recovery time to replenish ATP stores to prevent fatigue. This also follows the specification of the client, as their medical condition of underactive thyroid causes fatigue at a quicker rate, and therefore an active recovery stage will help prevent this by the replenishment of ATP stores. This is then followed by a varied flexibility activity of shoulder releases, as client 2 is trying to improve the flexibility and also help improve and maintain the deltoid muscles' pliability and range of movement after the strain applied by the previous exercise of squats with a barbell. This prevention towards injury will hopefully allow the client to work more efficiently later on in the session. Also, this should be done at low intensity, prevent tearing the muscle and therefore causing injury rather than progressively overloading the client's flexibility. The next exercise of cycling using the exercise bike will be used in order to try and get the client's lower body muscles like the hamstrings and quadricep groups to exercise. The duration of this has been increased from to try and get the client used to participate in aerobic exercises for later sessions where they performed at a higher intensity to maximise weight loss. However, to progressively overload the client's lower body muscles like the hamstrings and quadriceps, the exercise duration has been increased from 5 minutes to 8 minutes. Also, the low target heart rate zone will allow them to work for longer and decrease recovery time because of the reduction in the use of the anaerobic energy system. Following on, the client will then perform a lower back mobiliser at a different stage in the session than from last week due to providing variation and to relieve stress and help improve the client's flexibility in the lumbar vertebrae section. Therefore burning calorie. The bicep curls will then progressively increase the intensity of the session and take measures to ensuring weight loss due to the higher intensity the body is forced to work at and overload and consequently injure the client. Overload. However, as the client is used this exercise before, they were also at a weight of 2.5 kg. As they haven't used this exercise before, they will do the exercise at 2.5 kilograms for each dumbbell to prevent overload and constantly injure the client. Followed by a piriformis stretch to add to the improvement of the lower back flexibility, which will hopefully improve the strength of the lower core muscles to make their occupation easier when they are forced to constantly add strain to the lower back by bending over. Finally, the relief on straining the upper body of the client of maintaining high intensity to ensure weight loss. The client will take part in an SAQ ladder drill, which will also cause the use of the anaerobic energy system to maximise calorie burning. Although this may increase recovery time, it's the final exercise of the session, and therefore we can afford to work the client as hard as they will be instantly recovering after this activity is completed. The cool down, the submaximal exercise stage of this session will progressively decline the client's different aspects of their body in terms of intensity. For example, the continued activation of the skeletal muscle pump will increase the efficiency of blood flow to the working muscles to pay off the oxygen debt and therefore decrease heart rate to provide a decline in recovery time to the cardiovascular system, or strain on the cardiovascular system. The static stretches are then used to maintain the range of movement and pliability the client's working muscles and joints to prevent injury by preventing DOMS and teared ligaments.